I am here with Mary Peralta, who is the director of the USC Ross Minority Real Estate Program, correct?
Correct.
Mary, welcome to CRE Radio.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about the USC Ross Minority Real Estate Program. I'm just going to call it the Ross Program, otherwise I will trip over my tongue. Tell us about when it was formed, a little bit of the history and what its purpose is.
Sure. Following the 1992 civil unrest from Los Angeles, the CRA, the California Redevelopment Agency, was looking for people to redevelop in the areas that were affected and found that there was a severe shortage of people, let's say minority, represented, or diverse people to do the development that was required in the neighborhood. Being that USC is in South LA and was somewhat affected as well by the civil unrest, the CRA approached some USC faculty and asked if they could somehow provide some education for people from the area to learn how to redevelop it. And so at that time, they were looking for community activists, community development or economic development, development corporations that were part of churches to teach them the skills for real estate development in the area. And so, yes, we've come now upon 20 years anniversary. We have a little over 700 alumni, and we still teach real estate development, specifically focused on the urban core, and we are still seeking people from diverse cultural and ethnic backgrounds to take this course. Anyone can take this course, of course, and they gain amazing skills in real estate development. Most of our students are professionals in land use in some way. So typically, my students are architects, attorneys, appraisers, agents, brokers, even public sector, and a few elected officials that have taken this course in order to either understand the process better or to go out there and do some development in their communities.
What do the students really get out of it?
So they get a fundamental understanding of the financial modeling, feasibility analysis, and they get about 4 straight days, 8 hours straight of financial modeling from USC faculty, from PhDs in economics, and they get to understand what that pro forma really means and how it affects your project. So we don't use software, we don't use templates. The professors actually teach the students how to create a pro forma, how to analyze one from scratch. And that makes a big difference when you're trying to find out if a project that you're hoping to build is going to really come out positive when it comes to profit. Because regardless if they're trying to build in their community, whether they're nonprofit or affordable housing or public sector, that project still has to pencil out, right? And that's what we teach them. And from there, we bring in experts from the local area to teach about whatever's happening in the area. So if it's in Los Angeles, I bring in people from multifamily, from retail, commercial, to talk to the students, to maybe provide them some information about what's the trends what are the trends in the area.
I'm assuming that you feel that this program is important. The question I have for you is, why do you feel it's so important?
Well, it's a fact that real estate, especially in the development sector, is lacking diversity. We have somewhat diversity in other sectors, such as agents or brokers, maybe even architects, somewhat. But when it comes to development, the representation when it comes to the ethnic and cultural population is severely lacking. And the fact is, if you're going to look into your community and decide to develop something, we'd like that person who is in that community to be the person who makes that decision along with their neighbors. And we feel that it brings forth, a lot better ideas, innovation. I think that's something that we have found out throughout all, industries, that diversity brings just a better product, and that's what our goal is at the Ross program.
So for the purpose of helping develop minorities in commercial real estate, your position is, and I agree with you, diversity is really important for a healthy growth in commercial real estate. What does that do for each of the individual ethnic groups?
Well, I can't say that it's going to impact the whole ethnic group of this one individual, but I think just that person's representation in the industry makes for better. And rather than just having one type of person in a certain industry, you start understanding that, hey, you know, whether it's a female or whether it's an African American, their ideas are different. And what they want, what their, let's say, ethnic or cultural population need in commercial real estate, for example, is different, and that one person can bring it to us. So a person of, let's say, a Latino woman can work for a large company and still make some impact in what that large company is doing, because they might want to go and produce something in an area they're not familiar with, or maybe they don't even want to produce something in an area they're not familiar with. But because this Latino woman is in this company, she can guide where and what needs to be done. And I think that that gives that person pride, and it gives their, you know, their whole family, friends, and also it's an example. It's an example of what we can do, and that this industry is not closed to anyone because of their race or because of their gender. It's just something that we need to introduce this to people that are not usually the let's say, the typical face we see in real estate development.
Is there something about what you do that really inspires you?
There is, actually. Besides really helping people, so the students come to this course hoping to learn something, hoping that what they learn is going to advance them in their careers. And it does. But one of the things that I have heard in every course that I've provided, one student at least comes to me and says, this was a life-changing experience. And when I hear that, I get chills, and it tells me I'm doing the right thing. So I love this job. I love to see that my graduates are very involved in the program. I actually have one that's going to be here at the ICSC as a volunteer to help me staff the table. And they're always calling me, trying to find out, hey, can we do something for you? And I love that. And I think I'm doing a good job keeping them together. And that in itself is, I'm very grateful for that.
That is a great answer. And you and I are of like mind, because one of the things about what I do is inspiring people to better themselves. And we hope that what we do on the radio and our videos and whatever else we're providing is helping people to do that. And I have great admiration for what you've been doing over the last 20 years.